Hello, my name is Elliot Abraham. Today I'll be doing a presentation on the vulnerability assessment. In this presentation, I will be going over what a green bone scan is, which was the required scan we had to do for this assessment. I'll be going over the findings that happened within this scan. I'll be going over a couple of remediations for the vulnerabilities that were found, and I will also go over the state of the servers after the findings and remediations that I came up with for the vulnerabilities. Thank you. So, what actually is a green bone scan? This was the required scan that we had to use for the vulnerability assessment that we had to run on our partners' servers for this last assignment. And what I came to find out was the green bone scan. They test IT networks for many different types of vulnerabilities. Any number of vulnerabilities that you can find on your Linux servers or your Windows servers. This is a threat detection based on the hosts that are added to the scan, and you add in the IPs that you want to have scanned, and wait some amount of time, and then it gives you the answers. This is a complete scan for everything that is on the server, so you will figure out anything and everything that you want to know about your servers once you run this scan, which is why it's a complete scan. This is a great way to get a look into physical perimeter network, host and OS application, and also the database. For the Greenbone scan, they take a different view for the scan than other people. They use an outside in versus an inside out. This is so they get a look at how hackers would basically see the system, and this way they get a better understanding of the system. Also with the Greenbone scan, which is pretty unique and helpful, they give remediations that can be done for the vulnerabilities that are found on the system. And with those vulnerabilities, you can take that back and fix those vulnerabilities. Next, next we have the findings. Surprisingly enough, there were only two findings that were found on the servers after the Greenbone scan. The first finding, and there were one was a medium and one was a low threat level, and the findings were SSL and TLS. That would be secure sockets layer, transport layer security. It had weak cipher suites accepted by a service. And the next one was the host implements RFC 1323. And then the next one I will be going over a few of the remediations that can be done on for those findings, so that the server can come back with zero threat level. Although these two were still low in nature, they still need to be remediated. For the first vulnerability that was mentioned in the previous slide, which was weak cipher suites that were accepted, the user must utilize Apache. This was a service that we had to configure earlier in the semester, and this allowed us to actually bring on our HTTPS as well as configure a few more things. And in order to get that fully configured, you have to configure SSL certificates as as well. So for this vulnerability, the user must utilize the Apache config file, and that config file is the httpd-ssl.config file. And once in that config file, the user will want to change the SSL cipher suite setting. Um, you want to change that setting. After that, basically you're going to want to set protocols to accept only TLS version 1.2 and TLS version 1.1. It's also said that if you can afford it, remove TLS 1.1 and only keep TLS version 1.2. This would allow for the user to disable SSL version 2 and SSL version 3. All of these will help to strengthen the cipher suites. Because basically what it's going to do is it's going to always choose the strongest cipher versus versus the weakest one whenever it's not configured correctly. The cipher suite uses a it's either a long string or a short string, and the shorter the string, the weaker the cipher suite. So whenever you change the setting, you always want to make sure that you're using the longer string, which will help with this remediation and vulnerability. For the next vulnerability that was found, this one was a lower scale vulnerability, and on the scale that was used is probably a 0 to a 3.9 in ranking. And for this one, this was the RFC 1312, which the host implements. You're gonna want to have the user disable TCP and ICMP timestamps. This is normally found on Linux hosts, and like I said, this is a lower severity finding. Um, but with this finding, the timestamps can be seen as a result. And since timestamps can be seen, that's not good. Because hackers take anything and they run with it. So so I was so the user will need to enter into the a file slash etc slash sysctl.d slash tcp underscore timestamps dot config file. Once in there, change the timestamps row from whatever it is to 0. If it's on anything else, then the timestamps will be recorded. Doing so will shut off this issue. And so from what I learned is TCP timestamps actually allow anyone to remotely calculate the system uptime and boot time of the machine and host clock down to millisecond precision. This is not good if you want to keep full security of your system. But this issue is actually also already known, and most of the time you have to go in there manually and change this setting yourself. So this is a way to actually remediate this issue within the system. Last but not least is the state of the servers. These servers are hardened almost to perfection. Some of these findings would have had to be remediated for them to come up as a zero findings, but otherwise this was a great scan. My partner Jesse, she hardened her servers very good. There were only two vulnerabilities found from the scan, one medium and one low, none of which could really cause too much harm to the servers. There was two servers scanned, and only one server had vulnerabilities, and that was the Linux server. The Windows servers was seen as perfect. So basically, this was great attention to detail and great server hardening. That will conclude the presentation. Um, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is a very different type of a presentation, type of an assignment. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing this one with the Greenbone scans. My partner Her servers were hardened very, very well. It made it easy to do the paper and just everything else that came with it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.